recording. So can I have you introduce yourself and the name of your movie?
Of course. My name is Krista Barzso. I am the writer, producer, and lead actor in my short film Persistence. It's about what I'm calling the gray areas of stalking, which
Mhm,
is exploring how much damage somebody can do to your life without technically breaking any laws and
mhm.
how society treats people in that situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is a very, for me, it was a very powerful piece. And I want you to tell us how you could, because you not only are the lead, but you produced the film as well. So,
Yes.
how did that all come about? Like, how did that happen?
It's kind of it's hard to explain, but it's almost you hear people say like a project took on a life of its own, and it sounds so weird, but it kind of did. This initially started. I just wanted to make a film during COVID to keep myself busy. I don't sit still very well, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna, the industry slowed down. I'm gonna take on a project, but I didn't know what it was even going to be about. Just that I wanted to make something. So I started brainstorming ideas. I I wish I kept the list, because I think it's hilarious. Like, it's just a bunch of sketch comedy ideas of like, this would be a funny scenario. And then uh, it just came to me, and I wrote down, you know, my experience with stalking. This story is based on a true my true life experiences.
Wow.
Um, and I wrote that down, which is so unlike anything else I had written on the list up to that point. And the bottom just dropped out of my stomach. I just uh, like was shaking, and my heart started racing, and had a physical reaction just to writing the words on the paper. And I thought, like, okay, there's something here to explore. So, there I thought I had put it behind me. Obviously, I have more that I need to process here. So I thought, great, I'll tell this story. And I, to the very core of my being, thought that everyone was just going to read it and not understand what I was talking about and laugh me out of the room. And I was like, whatever, it's my project. I'm writing it. I get to tell my story the way I want to.
Mhm,
Um, and instead of that, what I found was that so many people have gone through something similar.
mhm.
Uh, Not only did I not get laughed out of the room, but I found just a level of catharsis I didn't even think was possible, because I felt so alone happening to me. I didn't think people understood. You can't go to the cops. Nobody really believes you. It's
Mhm,
so hard to put into words, and you start, doubting that it's even happening, or
mhm.
you start second guessing yourself. And so I remember just feeling so alone while I was going through it. And then, it's unfortunate how many people have similar stories, but the good side that's come out of it is that, um, I have realized just how not alone I am.
Mhm.
Other people have come up to me saying how they were feeling the same way, like they didn't think anybody understood it, and then they saw it on the screen, and they're like, oh my god, I'm not alone, not the only one. Other people have gone through it. I've had people talk to me about how it started in really important conversations with other people in their families, with just friends that maybe hadn't grasped it before, and it kind of just grew from there. So it just started with a story that I wanted to tell, that I personally wanted to explore. And the taking on the production side of it was more just, I, I I did what came next. Like, if I'm telling this story, I have to find cast, I have to
Mhm,
find a location, I have to, I'm making this. So um you just keep putting on hats, like different roles in the
mhm.
film production, because it's such a small project, and you just keep putting on the next hat that needs to get worn, to get the story on the screen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it sounds like it was very cathartic for you to work through this. I totally see this as a feature film. Totally. I mean, it was riveting. So, um, being the producer as well put you in control of a lot of things. Did you feel like that was necessary? That was actual? that
Oh
that was
yeah.
your
That
actuality.
was delightful. The power. It was so great. As an actor, that's my how I come into the industry first and foremost. That's where
Mhm,
most of my training is, um, and my first love. But when you're an actor, you are very much bringing other people's stories and other people's words and other people's characters to life, which
mhm.
has its own catharsis in it,
Yes.
for me. But you have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. You
Mhm.
go, you do your work, you leave, and then your friends and family are constantly like, "Well, when's it coming out?" And you're like, "I don't
Mhm.
know, maybe never." Like,
That's right.
I have no idea. It could be we could get an announcement tomorrow, or never. So sometime between those two time periods
Yeah.
is when you'll get to see it.
Or
And
then
you
your
have no
scene is
idea.
cut, so that you're not
Yeah,
even in it.
exactly. Like,
Yeah,
and you have no idea. You're not
yeah.
involved in the conversations. You're not consulted. It's just, it goes into the void and then you hope it comes back out of the void at
Mhm.
some point. So being in the producer's chair was a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
Not only just from getting a deeper understanding of how, what goes into running a set,
Mhm.
um, all of the different things that have to be considered. It was really nice to have one project that, like, if it was delayed, I could fix it. Like,
Mhm.
I knew exactly what the delay was, how long it would be, if it was valid or not, and what I could do to overcome it and
Mhm.
take the next steps to push it forward. So that was really lovely as
Yeah.
well. I strongly
Absolutely.
recommend for other actors and to give it a produce something, anything.
Absolutely. So are you ready to peel more layers off of your story to extend it, to make it into a feature?
The feature script is already being written.
Wonderful, wonderful.
It's definitely one of those things. Again, like, as it kind of grew, I was never intending to make a feature. It was just going to be a short. But as
Mhm.
I've had more conversations, and just even from my own process, when you're writing a 10-minute story, there are limitations to that.
Mhm.
You can't introduce so much that you can't resolve it in 10 minutes. So you have to
Mhm.
limit. And also, we were filming during COVID. So just in terms of the logistics of everything, the
Yeah.
time constraints, the budget constraints, the COVID restraints, um, we had some restrictions on us, which I think for this story ended up serving us well because it's such an intimate setting and it's an
Mhm.
intimate part of the story. Um, it was kind of nice to just have, we wrote in one location, we filmed in one night, we had
Yes.
very limited cast, and so it felt very cozy and you get to really explore those 10 minutes.
Mhm.
But for feature, it would give us the opportunity to say all the things that I had to edit in the
Mhm.
first one. There was just a
Mhm.
lot I couldn't include, a lot I wasn't able to explore properly, and a lot that I still want to show. So once I sort of realized how much wasn't in it,
Mhm.
and also just how well it has been received, that's when I realized, like, yeah, there's more here, and I'm gonna pull it out.
Absolutely. As a filmmaker, because you're a filmmaker and an actor and a producer, I feel like that's your job. Your job as a storyteller is to move me, regardless of whether I love your piece or I hate your piece or I'm indifferent. I still had a feeling. So it sounds like you moved a lot of people. So ultimately, how did that make you feel? Knowing that, hey, I wasn't alone and I did create these feelings. I'm getting other people to talk about it as well. How did that make you feel?
Um, I don't know. I have words for that. I'm not often speechless. But it was such a vulnerable time when you're going through it, and again, like, just feeling alone and unsafe and insecure and vulnerable, and then realizing that there are other people out there, there are conversations to be had, uh, that I'm helping other people find their way to an emotional resolution. Like, I can't put that into words. It's the dream of every artist, I think, to, as you say, to move people, to touch people's souls in a way. And to know that I've done that, that my art went into the world and impacted people and is framing conversations. I've had dads come up to me asking how they can talk about this with their daughters.
Mhm.
They've just become fathers and they are terrified for them.
Yeah.
I've had couples come up to me where the wife didn't hasn't been able to start this conversation with her husband.
Mhm.
Um, I've had men and women share stories. It's the vast majority of people who undergo these circumstances are women, but not exclusively.
Mhm.
And I've had people share so many stories with me. I think because I put myself out there in such a way, um, it's it's a kind of connection and just shared moment with
Mhm.
all of these people, and just makes me really realize that this story matters, like that what we're doing matters. I think there's a lot of focus on the entertainment industry just being frivolous, but what we do changes lives, and it
Yes.
changes emotional states, and it can help people through a dark time in a way that other things can't. um,
Yes. Yes.
when you can show an experience to somebody, when you can make them feel what you felt,
Absolutely.
that is a power, and it's world changing.
Mhm.
That's the power of art. So to get to feel it, I feel very fortunate. I feel
Absolutely.
very
You
lucky, and I'm hoping that the feature will go on and expand the conversations even more.
absolutely. I'm
Been so thrilled.
waiting to see it. So to wrap up, I'm going to ask you, what's next for Krista? What's on the horizon other than Persistence, the feature? What's next?
Well, Persistence the Short is still in its festival run.
Yes.
Um, coming soon to Montreal.
Yes.
And then hopefully some others. We haven't heard back about our next screening yet, but we're still doing the festival run for that. And then, for Krista is still very much an actor. We're still out there. We're still auditioning and being part of other people's projects. And I have discovered through this, though, that I also very much enjoy the writing process and the producing process. And we've worked on a couple of other little micro shorts, and I've been really enjoying exploring that side of the industry as well. So hoping to get to do more of those things also.
Yes. Okay. Well, you definitely will. And thank you so much for allowing us to screen Persistence at the Canadian Independent Film Festival held in Montreal, Quebec. We are excited. We're excited to spend time with you, and we really look forward to seeing you. We've got some surprises for you.
Oh, I'm excited. No, I thank you so much. I'm so honored to be a part of it, and I'm so looking forward to seeing everyone while we're out there.
All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. Bye bye.